I'm Dr. Anthony Harper here, blessed to be in the James Brady Press Room of the White House with Robert Feuereisen, Jewish World Review. Thank you, Robert, for joining me. And
my pleasure.
This is International Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Right, I'm very much aware of that.
A very important, very crucial day. What would you like to say about, combating anti-Semitism in light of this day today?
Well, a lot of people are commemorating this day, whether they're of the Jewish faith or not, because they see the importance of Israel being a very staunch and strong ally. And that's a wonderful thing because it promotes world peace and world understanding of all about the Jewish nation. Mm-hmm. And that in itself combats anti-Semitism. But unfortunately, this whole process, this whole situation with anti-Semitism is an ongoing process, a situation which has a little bit declined, but not much. It depends where you are and which part of the world you are. And the places like you go to the Middle East, which is a very which is a powder keg, which a lot of people call it. It's very volatile there. And over there, they don't want to understand. The Palestinians don't want to understand, and they don't want to admit that the Jewish state belongs to the Jewish people. And, and that probably won't happen until something really spectacular comes by the grace of God. And that's something that all the Jewish people, the Jewish nation, Israel, and I think the rest of the world, even those who are not of the Jewish faith, are looking forward to that. Because if you see what goes on, especially with Hamas, I mean, it's so outrageous what they did, taking all these hostages and holding them for, 15 months and releasing them bit by bit like a drop in the bucket. And it shows they have absolutely no respect for humanity in any which way. Mm-hmm. And that means they don't even have self-respect for their own people. If, God forbid, they would annihilate the rest of the world, they'll probably turn to themselves and annihilate themselves, their friends, their relatives. I mean, that's who they are. That's what they're all about. They're about destruction, not about building. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the main problems that the rest of the world has in dealing with them, because if a person does not care about his own life, he doesn't care, he's ready to give up his life just to murder somebody else whom he doesn't even know, who never even met, what does that tell? What does that show? Mm-hmm. It shows that the person has absolutely no scruples. Nothing is important to him. Life is not important. Life is precious to every single person of every single faith, no matter who you are, where you live. Everyone enjoys and appreciates the life that God gives them. And these people don't appreciate anything that has to do with sustenance, life. And what do they believe in? I don't think anybody knows. They themselves don't know what they believe in. And this is the problem that the rest of the world is facing. You can't trust them. You don't know what they're going to do next. They're very unpredictable. What they did 15 months ago, taking men, women, children, babies, and just slaughtering them just like that, like it means nothing. It sliced babies like a slice of cheese. It means nothing to them. And so how do you deal with someone like that? There's only one way to deal with them. Just get rid of them, period.
Well, how often do you hear the word Jew hatred?
Well, there are different ways to say it. Mm-hmm. And there's different ways to promote hatred, by actions, by inaction. And what we try to do with people, the Jewish people at large in every city, in every state in the world, in every country, every continent, they try to get along with everyone, with their neighbors, whether they're not, even if they're not of the Jewish faith. So I myself have neighbors who are not of the Jewish faith, and we get along so well. And we feel like we're comrades. It's a camaraderie with us. It's not just neighbors. And we help each other, and that creates friendship, and that creates harmony amongst people who are in different faiths.
So would you say hatred of Jewish people is greatly on the rise?
Well, like I said, I don't want to say that because it's not a popular thing to say, because it creates it creates the image that we're giving up. We don't know what else to do, and that's something we don't want to do. So the best thing to say is there is unfortunately anti-Semitism. To say it's on the rise does not do us any good, and but we have to deal with it in a realistic way. And well, take a look at the Trump administration. I was very happy that President Trump did decide to run for re-election, and certainly happy that he got elected, because he is very pro-Israel, and he's certainly doesn't have an ounce of anti-Semitism within him. He's a person who loves America, he loves the people, and that's why he won this election in such an outstanding way. And what happened 4 years ago might be an interesting, why did he lose the election 4 years ago? So I think that was a divine thing. You know why? Because presidents only allowed to run for 2 terms. So 4 years ago, it wasn't necessary to have President Trump because nothing major was going on. Of course, the last administration, whatever they feel they accomplished, but there were certain things that were not working well for the administration and for the world at large. For example, anti-Semitism, right? And so I think God saved President Trump for the next 4 years, and that's why he's in office today. That's what a lot of people think. It's not only myself saying this, but this is probably the majority of all the Jewish people. And I think Prime Minister Netanyahu probably mentioned that to President Trump himself in their private conversations. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
So what has happened is that what you're saying is that there's been more incentive for people to vote for President Trump, most recently because of the stark contrast in the policies of the Biden administration with Trump.
Right.
Trump
and like I said, in the past administration, actually, I got along very well with President Biden, believe it or not. And and he once went out of his way for me, so I always appreciated that, and always will. So I'm not going to really, he's out of office, and I'm not going to knock him in any which way, because I feel I appreciate what he did for me at one time. So the Jewish faith is very much, well, I would say that they care if someone does something for you, and it does it in a kind way, and it shows, you have to show your appreciation, so you don't want to knock him. You have to show recognition for what he did, and that's something that's part of our Jewish faith. So I'm not going to knock him, not going to say anything negative about him. He served 4 years, 50 years as a public servant, and whatever he accomplished, that'll be between him and God. And he'll be judged by God himself, not by myself, or not by anyone else. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I would leave it.
Okay.
So,
well, I mean, to think about the unique time that we've had here at the White House. Those that may not know, but previously in the Trump administration, I met Robert Feuereisen. We were together at that first week of the Trump administration press meetings, meeting with Sean Spicer.
That is correct. That's right. I remember Sean very well. And I also had a good rapport with him, and I had a very good rapport with all the press secretaries. And I'm going to hope to meet soon Carolyn Levitt, and she will be the 24th press secretary, which I will be associated with. I know she's traveling with the president today, so next time I come here, I will be more than happy to see her and and meet with her and let her know that she's number 24. So.
Well, thank you, Robert.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know, it's been quite a history, and we want to commemorate Connie Lawn, a previous news reporter that Robert, you and I are with. She
Right.
passed away, sad to say, but
You know when?
well, it was
wasn't
several years ago. But
Right. I haven't
you
seen
know,
her a number of years. Right.
I think about that special time that you and I and she were with Sean Spicer the first week of the Trump administration.
Right. Sure.
So thank you for.
Yeah. Actually, I
Robert?
remember when Prime Minister Netanyahu was speaking out in the stakeout, and so she maneuvered herself around to get to speak to him, and they had a nice conversation. So, so I remember that.
Well, miss you, Connie, and it's great to be here in the press room again.